Me and my friend here have just come out of the Antifa protest against the nationalist protest, and we've stated that we are independent media. We're not for either side. We're here for their voice. We're here to represent everybody, to get everybody's opinions out. We were approached by three Antifa lunatics who basically came, pushed us out of the road, very, very hostile, very, very violent, came towards me, and I says, I'm here to interview all of you to get your opinion. Said, no, you have to leave. They pushed us out onto the street. The Gardaí didn't understand whatsoever. We had a conversation with a Gardaí lady, very nice lady, respect the police, respect the people of Ireland, all the people of Ireland. And she says, you have to get back into the crowd. She's seen we weren't allowed back into the crowd, and she never told off, or she never done anything to help us. She supported the Antifa crowd. You probably see that in a bit of the video footage. I don't know what I've got, but very, very hostile crowd coming from Antifa. Actual jihadists. I've seen one jihadist. He was wrapped up in a jihadi suit. So I went there as independent. I have my own opinions, but I always represent the other side, and I try to represent them. They pushed me out. They actually physically assaulted me. The police seen the physical assault of me and my good friend, and they never done anything. They actually says, get back onto the sidewalk. They try to put us back into danger, and they allowed the people to basically commit a crime. So unfortunately, this is the world that we're living in. A very split, divided country at the minute. What that is up there, that isn't for anti-fascists. That's actual fascists, because they don't want to have a conversation. They don't want to have a debate. They want to actually to tear down what they think is wrong. But what they're tearing down is society. They're trying to crumble Western society, and they don't even realize it. Most of them were young people, but I did notice a couple of actual jihadists. So the 150 jihadists that I've been speaking about for the past couple of weeks now, I'm sure there was about 3 or 4 of them in there, and I actually did fear for my life. And they pushed me out onto the road in front of the tram. I think that's what you call it, the tram, isn't it? The tram. And the police saying it, they didn't do a single thing. And we're independent media. We're for neither side. We're not for one side or the other. We tried our best, but the only hostilities I came across was from Antifa and the Antifa counter protest to the nationalist protest. I tried to give you footage. I tried to have an interview. I thought I was going to do it, but they're very, very unreasonable. So I apologise about that. For the young people of Ireland, for the people in that protest, you are absolutely disgusting. Because I'm against racism. I'm against homophobia. I'm against persecuting against somebody because of the colour of their skin. But what you're seeing up there is a complete persecution of the Irish people, and what they're actually doing is, what they done to me was a physical assault to me and my friend. So I'll never forget that, and I'll go into the next protest knowing that. So you could have had me as an ally, you could have had your say, but you didn't. You decided just to shout and roar and not debate. So there you go. Peace out, folks.
Americans' rights are under attack! Our workers' rights are under attack! Americans' rights are under attack! Our housing rights are under attack! Our housing rights are under attack! Our workers' rights are under attack! Our workers' rights are under attack! Our workers' rights are under attack! And migrants' rights are under attack! And migrants' rights are under attack!
Is this not a public area?
And migrants' rights are under attack!
Public area.
And migrants' rights are under attack! Our workers' rights are under attack! Our workers' rights are under attack! Our workers' rights are under attack!
We're independent media.
Our workers' rights are under attack! Our workers' rights are under
So
attack!
we've just been told we can't film.
Our workers' rights are under attack! Our migrants' rights are under attack! Our migrants' rights are under attack!
No, independent. We're independent media. We're neither side.
We're independent because you can't get a job in an actual newspaper.
This isn't a job. This isn't a job.
This is called democracy.
We're not against you.
We're not against you.
We're not against you.
We're
We're just listening to
both
you.
sides of the
We're not against you.
Yeah.
We're not for them. We're not for you. We're for everybody.
We just want to hear both sides.
Does anybody want to speak and talk about their side?
Freedom of speech exists.
Does anybody want to comment on the Nationalist Party's march today? I spoke to a few of them today. Would you like to have a say or have a word? That's what I'm here. I want to hear your side. We're just covering both sides.
Hey, fuck off. Why? Why? It's freedom of speech, buddy. Fuck about your freedom of speech.
We're not with them.
We're not with anybody.
We're not with them.
Refugees are welcome here.
We're not with them. We're independent.
Say it loud, say it clear.
Refugees are welcome here.
Say it loud, say it clear.
Refugees are welcome.
Say it loud, say it clear. Say it loud, say it clear. Say it loud, say it clear.
Refugees are welcome here. Say it loud, say it clear. Refugees are welcome here. Say it loud, say it clear. Refugees are welcome here. Say it loud, say it clear. Refugees are welcome here. Say it loud, say it clear. Refugees are welcome here.
Say it loud, say it clear.
Refugees are welcome here. Say it loud, say it clear. Refugees are welcome here. Refugees are welcome here.
Push this off.
Get off the road.
Hey, away!
Relax. Get off the road. I'm asking you. Get off the road.
We're not allowing us. We're not allowing us.
Push us out. Push us out of the road. Look. Look at this. Look at this.
Refugees are welcome here. Keep moving down. Refugees are welcome here. Okay? Yeah. No, there you go. Get on the football.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Refugees are welcome here.
Refugees are welcome here.
Oh, where's it going? That's what I wanted.
That's fucking brilliant.
See that, guys?
Fucking brilliant.
We just all we try to do is interview. We're independent media, and they kicked us out.
Yeah. Pushing onto the street and foot.
So I never got to ask any questions. They didn't know who I was. That was the Antifa protest. They didn't know who I was. They were backed by the police, the GARDAI, and we were pushed out onto the road. And you need to know this. Where the road was, there was buses going by. There was a GARDAI standing behind us, and she seen us getting pushed out onto the road by the Antifa thugs, the lunatics. We couldn't go back onto the road. The cop was giving us instructions to get back in off the road, but we couldn't because they were lined up. They had pushed us off the road, which is an assault, and we couldn't get back in. So she was giving us an instruction that we couldn't do, and she seen that and she knew that, and she never once said to the Antifa crowd, can you please let these two men get back onto the road because it's unsafe, because there's a tram going by and a bus. They didn't care because they were backed by the Gardaí, they were backed by the police. So make of that what you will. In regards to them saying refugees are welcome here, I'm neither against or for refugees coming here. I'm not in politics. I don't know the statistics, the ins and outs. We were there to cover it completely independently, completely unbiased. I do have my opinions on certain things, as you know, but I always like to tell the other side, and I didn't go in there as an enemy. They didn't know who I was. They never asked me a question. Who are you? What are you about? You know, what side are you on? I would have said to them, look, I've asked a couple of questions from the nationalist side. Now it's to hear from you guys. What's your opinion? They didn't want that. They didn't want a debate. They didn't want questions. They didn't want any of that. And while I was in that area, I did recognize people dressed as jihadists. So, they didn't know why we were there. They didn't know what the crack was. And for me, they were extremists. They were far left extremists that didn't want to debate. And that's my opinion. So on a side note, I have to say this. There was thousands of people at the nationalist protest. There was thousands of others in support driving by. And I didn't see any racism. I didn't hear any racism. I didn't hear any bigotry. I've seen people getting their political views getting put across. There was people being listened to. So when it came to both sides, the only hostilities came from the Antifa crowd. And you just need to know that that's what I seen, and I followed the whole thing. Now, one thing that me and my friend wanted to do was we wanted to separate from the pack and get the opinions from Antifa. But as you can see, they didn't want that. So out of the thousands of people that were at the protest, for the nationalist side, it was only me and my friend that decided to separate from the pack and go into what seems now as enemy territory, hostile territory, to give you the footage and give you the real footage and the realization of what is really going on here. Now, since then, I have been contacted by many people from the area. I've been contacted by people that are actually in the government system. I'll not be giving their name away, that have recognized some of the characters that approached us, that swarmed us and attacked us. And they've told us that these people are regular faces at these protests, for the counter protests, which is fine. But I've also been given information that some of these people allegedly, this isn't verified, have been paid off by NGOs, non-government organizations that are linked in with the government to counter any nationalist protests. So you're possibly witnessing people there that are being paid by the government. So that's the protest on its way. Got Niall McConnell there, you'll know him. Sorry.
Their sacred duty as Irish men and women to stand up for our country. Are the farmers going to join us today? Are the farmers going to go wherever way they're told to go personally? You might need some help here. I would go on the footpath.
As you can see, thousands of people on the streets, the whole way up the road, the whole way down the road, just outside the Garden of Remembrance. So when they say there's a small minority of Irish men and women that are far right, are all these people far right? All these people must be far right, but they're not. They're standing up against their government for what their government's doing to them.
Peace and love and freedom.
Niall.
Well, Strickland. We'll walk and talk.
What do you think of the turnout today?
It's fantastic. It's great to see so many patriots. Enough is enough. Irish people have had enough. Our borders are wide open. It's time for Irish men and women to speak out. If you're watching this, right, and you're not talking to your friends and family, if you're awake of what's happening, and you're not speaking to your mother, your father, your sons, your brothers, you have to speak out. Do not be afraid. They want you to think that you have no power. But if you speak to your friends, your family members, somebody down the shop, just speak to them about immigration. We have to speak up. That's what I did. And like I have a YouTube channel now, etc., etc. It doesn't take much at all. I'm a sheep farmer. I'm a bog man from Donegal. It doesn't take much. Just get out there, speak out, and you'd be surprised what one person can do. So, speak out against immigration is the #1 topic in Ireland now, and it's going to be a big hot topic now with the upcoming elections.
How do you see Ireland in 10 years?
Ireland 10 years, if it doesn't stop, Ireland will be gone forever. We have 10 years to turn this around through this family reunification that's going to happen now, which is already happening. So the average migrant brings in 20 family members into Ireland, and there's a referendum coming up now in March the 8th, 2024, that will open Ireland's borders forever through family reunification. So we need 2 no votes on March the 8th, 2024. Anything else or no?
That's it now. Thank you very
No
much.
more. God bless you.
Keep doing what you're doing.
you
Irish
later.
patriot.
All right.
I had to get it from him. Hey, that's the way. I think that's class. Do you know that's what it's about, though. You know, if you're in Ireland, you have.
Say no to open borders! Fucking sick of it! There's some rats running the country! Rats running the country! Servants to King selling us out! Servants to King Charles. You'll never be the Irish! You'll never be the Irish! You'll never be the Irish! Come on, Ireland! Take your rights back! Fucking rats running the country! Between the communists and the globalists! They leave nothing of Ireland! And we're here to stop it! It's our duty! Protect tyranny! You'll never be the Irish! You'll never be the Irish! Reject globalism. Put your country first. Reject globalism. Put your country first. Reject globalization. Put your country first. Reject globalization. Put your country first. That's running the country. Dirty sellout evil bastards. You won't see the politicians taking a pay cut. Ask the politicians to take a pay cut for every extra person that comes into this country, and you'll soon see how generous they really are. When was the last time the Irish politicians took a pay cut?
The counter protest is designed. The counter protest, right? The reason why it's like, right, we all have egos, right? You see a rocket going to space, right? We have egos, we have super egos, we all have ideas. We're all individuals, right? Now, what the government have done, the government have copied, right, the propaganda from America, and they are now employing it on their own people. Before the war in Iraq, the American government used the lie that there's weapons of mass destruction week after week after week after week. And then they went in and they had a war in Iraq on the false premises that there was weapons of mass destruction. And now the Irish government is using the same propaganda from America, claiming that there's an Irish far right. And they want to just keep repeating and repeating and repeating it. And what they are doing is they are giving a fake and unfair moral advantage to the other side. We have to say the other side. You have globalists, right? They want to buy up everything. You see the farmers all across Europe, right? And the corporations want to put an end to farming. They believe in depopulation. They want control of everything. They're using all sorts of excuses linked to climate change to drive the cost of fertiliser up, right? That's globalisation. And then the other hand, you have these socialists, right? And they believe that we should, look after the whole world, right? Now, here's the thing. They claim that there's empty houses all over Ireland, right? They say, oh, the open borders and the immigration and the refugees coming in has nothing to do with the housing crisis, nothing to do with this, nothing to do with that. But yet, the same people that are down outside the square now have not secured one empty home for the Irish homeless. So what are they talking about? You don't go fixing the world's problems until you fix your own. And that should be applied to every country, not just Ireland. You don't go fixing things that are 10 or 10,000 miles away before you fix what's on your own doorstep. And that's the way it used to be. That used to be a politician's job. And now you're racist for thinking that. It's propaganda. They are weaponising people. The Bank of Ireland, the Bank of Ireland was part of it. The bank bailout was designed to weaponise against the Irish people, to put financial slavery around the children that haven't even been born in this country yet. And now, open borders is the second part of weaponisation. They want us a minority in our own country because they know that people eventually wake up to Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael and all these people that have sold the country out. And that's why, a couple of weeks ago, Varadkar stated that anybody that's in the country that has a PPS number can vote. Right? They are buying votes, and we're here to tell them they are not going to sell this country out. Not a chance. Unless you're working here for 10 to 20 years, you should not be voting. And that should apply to every country. They are going to try and buy votes, and we're going to shout as loud as we can to make sure the Irish know what they're doing is unconstitutional, to say the least. Taking us for fools, they've been doing it for years. And if you let them keep doing it, there will be no future for the children in this country. Make no mistake about it. And if you think it's awkward to talk about it now, it'll pale in comparison of the struggles we'll have in 10 or 20 years if they get their way.
What can the Irish people do?
The Irish people need to lose their fear. The Irish people before were known for not being afraid to speak their mind. The Irish are terrified of speaking their mind. Nobody has all the answers, right? But the thing is, the government have gone on with agenda after agenda after agenda. And the reason why they're getting away with it is because people are afraid to speak up and say, no, I don't agree with that. And everybody says, oh, it's just me, just me. But if everybody does that, there's no opposition. And that's why we're forced to speak louder, because the people here are silent. Until the people in Ireland find their voices, we have to speak louder. And that's just the way it is. People need to find their voices very soon if they want a future for the children in this country.
So my conclusion to the whole thing and my opinion on it, well, I went to both. You've seen I went to both. I went to the Antifa one, and I went to the Antifa counter protest, and I went to the nationalist protest. Now, I would side more with the nationalists, what they're saying. The roundup, what they're saying, our government's calling us far right. Our government is basically trying to destroy us. Leo Varadkar is selling out to Europe. He's not doing right by his own people. There's a lot of problems here. Why are we trying to fix other problems abroad? And it's very hard to disagree with those points of view. But I think what stands out, even if you disagree with them, even if you disagree with their beliefs or what they think should happen, they're very willing to talk. They're very welcoming. You can go in there. I never felt any hostilities. I never felt like anybody was going to attack us. They would answer any questions. There was a lot of things off camera. A lot of people didn't want to go on the camera, and they were saying to me, "Look, Ronan, we've seen your videos on TikTok. We've seen you on social media, and we agree." And you're going to see it today. You're going to see the tyrannical government and its entities at work here. And, I took everything with a pinch of salt, but later on, when we went down to the Antifa protest, we separated from the pack, I could definitely feel that right now, I'm not a citizen of Ireland. Right now, the GARDAI, the government, see me as an enemy. I've seen a lot of people, I'll put other footage out of the riot squad, and you could see that these people they were there to keep the peace, but they were also gearing up for a riot, and they didn't like the nationalist protesters. Now, the nationalist protesters are the majority of Ireland. So for me, how can the leader of Ireland, Leo Varadkar, who's supposed to speak on behalf of the Irish people, how can he call the majority of Ireland far right? There's a very little minority of people who don't know the full facts about the situations that are going on, that don't understand what's going on, that think that these people that are protesting in the streets, the majority of Ireland, they actually believe that they're fascists, that they're far right, that they're bad people. And that's not the case at all. I was listening to a lot of people. I listened to one lady where she was talking about Aisling Murphy. She was talking about the kids being stabbed in the street. She was talking about how women can't go out anymore. So what I'm trying to get at here, and my conclusion to the whole thing is, why doesn't the other side, the opposing side to the Irish nationalists, why do they not want to debate? That is a clear sign of corruption. There's no getting away from that. And whenever you're in a situation where one side doesn't want to debate and they just want to shout and scream over you, and they don't actually want to come with any facts or opinions, they just come with their sort of like their chants, their prayers, and they just recite and recite. Hopefully they can drag somebody into their group. Well, you're dealing with corruption, or and especially if the police are for that side, and you could definitely tell the police were for that side. And there was only, at the very most, 250 people for the counter protest, the Antifa counter protest. So that tells me that the majority of Ireland, the majority, is saying we need our government to do something here, and our government doesn't represent us anymore. So why isn't the government listening to the Irish people? That is another indication that there is a tyrannical force at play here. And it's not a coincidence to me that Ireland is wrapped up, well, especially Leo Varadkar, is wrapped up within Europe and European money. And that would be an indication that it's coming from Leo, but it's also coming from Europe. As you heard, there was a guy, there's a lot of names I didn't get. There was a guy you heard being very passionate during the video. Didn't get his name. I think his name's Kevin somebody, but I want to get his full name to put it in the title to see if he's got any social medias where people can go follow him. I think that's only fair. He was very passionate. I liked him. He was very, very welcoming. Was never hostile towards us, and we told everybody, we said, look, we're here to represent everybody, to have everybody's opinions welcome here. That's what a democracy is. And they said, yeah, 100%, we get that. But it turns out the only hostilities we got were from Antifa, and, well, possibly government funded Antifa, and the police too. The police harassed us, and footage that we didn't capture. Unfortunately, I should have recorded this. We've seen a man being arrested for looking at a cop wrong. He just looked at the cop the wrong way, and the cop arrested him. They were trying to set off a riot, in my opinion, the cops, the GARDAI. And the man said, no, nobody riot, just let them lift me. This is an unlawful arrest. I'll be out in no time. And I got speaking to a young fella that was with him. And this young fella told me what happened. And we were ushered on, so we started walking away. I wasn't with that group. I just walked in as a civilian, just going into the situation. What's the crack here? And the cops then followed us, and they followed us for about a quarter of a mile, like properly tailing behind us, like heel to heel. And to which I actually got a wee bit annoyed, and I said a few things, and I said things like, you cops aren't intimidating because you are from the Republic of Ireland here, and you don't even carry weapons. You don't carry standard issue Glocks like I'm used to in the north, where the police up here carry weapons. So, you aren't intimidating. You've got your bats. You're following us. You're trying to maybe pick up on something that we're saying. So you've got some type of right to arrest us, but you aren't intimidating whatsoever. And I kept sort of regurgitating those things over and over again. And they backed off, but they definitely were trying to provoke us into a situation where something said to them so they could arrest us. And that's very unsettling, because for me, that is the government using the policing system against their own residents, and that's not good. And as I say, there was a lot of people at the nationalist protest that weren't from Ireland. There was a lot of foreign people, foreign born people. There was one guy I was speaking to, and he says 100%, these are 100% correct. because there's, we talked about Sharia law. We talked, it was 100%. These countries are not developed enough to allow these radical ideas to come from these countries into this great country. This guy was living here for 5 years. He wasn't a radical. He was a very good guy. Worked in Ireland, and came here legally, and he's living in Ireland now. He says a lot of people now are just ripping up their passports. They're coming in, and under the family reunification, there's a big referendum, I believe, where the Irish nationalists need 2 no votes. So I urge people to go out and vote in that to help the cause here, especially when it comes to the family reunification, where there's foreign men and women can come to Ireland and bring 20 of their family members. And for me personally, I think the cat's out of the bag now. I think we know this isn't about helping other countries, because Ireland's always helped other countries. It's more to do with repopulation. And that radical ideology that's been brought in is not good for a democracy. And that's my opinion on things. Remember, guys, always share these videos. Make sure you like and subscribe. If you're watching this on X, make sure you jump over to my YouTube at Stray Cabbage, all lowercase. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you head over to my X it's at HoldenOfficial too. If you're watching this on Rumble, go over to both of them. If you're watching, make sure you go over to my Rumble and follow me there. That's where you get my complete uncensored opinions. But yeah, guys, scary times in Ireland. Something tells me this. It feels like what it would feel like in 1940s Germany, with the rise of Hitler. Obviously I didn't live in those times, but it was a scary time, because I thought to myself, I'm going to give everybody the opportunity here, and the only people that took that opportunity to speak and have their say comfortably and welcome me in was the Irish nationalist side of things. So as it stands, the Irish nationalists done their job properly. It was a peaceful protest, and the only people that were hostile were the government entities, the government themselves, in regards to the GARDAI and ANTIFA. So take that for what you will.